But check this out, this wall, the way they've done this, right, I'm not going to do it too much, but that is moving. How are you doing, everyone? Welcome to this week's video. Now, this is a two-part video because I tried to do the whole thing and it was like 40 minutes long, so I've split into two videos. It was the last big job I'd done before this little madam arrived. So it was a bit touch and go when I was doing this job, because whilst I was doing it, in the back of my mind I was constantly thinking, am I going to get the phone call? Am I going to get the phone call? Am I going to have to rush off the job because the baby's coming? But luckily she held out. She let me finish the job, which helped me financially, because then I took pretty much the rest of August off. So it was nice to have that little buffer to see me through whilst I was taking some time off for paternity. Enough chit chat. I hope you guys enjoy this video. The second part will be dropping on Wednesday. Tomorrow morning, well, you guys are watching this on Sunday, so tomorrow morning, Monday, I'm actually going to be heading up to Leicester to do my F-gas training. So I'm going to be there for 4 days, and I'll put some content up on it, how I'm getting on, if there is anything worthwhile putting up. But if not, the next part of this video will be dropping on Wednesday, so stay tuned, enjoy it, and as always, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and the little bell button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one. Okay, so welcome to my office for the next 3 days. So this job, I've got 7 radiators to hang and pipe up, and then we've also got a boiler to move. So we've got Viessmann 100W, yeah, 100W combi. So that boiler is going to be going from where it is there onto this wall here. So the customer's just having a new kitchen redone here, so it's all being replastered at the moment. So all that should be done today. It's Wednesday today, so Friday is the day I'm going to be doing the boiler. So first thing I need to do, because they've put an extractor fan and a spur switch there, but my flue hole is going to go roughly here. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but either way, I need to move this, because if the boiler is going to go in this area, that's going to be behind the boiler. Got cables coming down from there. So first thing I'm going to be doing today is just chasing out this wall, finding where the cables are running and moving the switch to maybe, well, probably just somewhere about here. So at least we've got access to power. I would have liked if the cables were coming up from there, then I could have easily just find out where they were going, chased it out, and then put the spare either side somewhere, but it's there, so it's fine. I'll do it. I'll just move it somewhere up there. That's what I'm doing boiler wise today, because they're still doing the kitchen. Other than that, I've got 6 radiators to hang actually, because the kitchen one's not going to be ready to go on today. That will probably go on Friday. But other than that, I've got 1 here, 1 there, that's 2, and then I've got 4 upstairs as well. So I'm going to be getting those 4 radiators hung today. Tomorrow I'll do the pipe to the riser. Depending on how I get on today, I may start piping up some of the radiators, but plan for today is hang 6 radiators, sort out this switch, and then tomorrow I'll come back and pipe up the rads, and then Friday me and Josh are going to be moving the boiler, power flush, etc. Got to adjust the gas pipe. Literally the gas meter is right on the opposite side of this wall, so I'm not going to faff around the gas pipe there. We've also got a bit of a manky gas pipe here coming out the wall for the hob. So plan is I'm going to take a new gas run from the meter outside. Gas meter is just down there outside, so I'm going to bring it out, probably run a new gas line on the outside wall, punch it into the boiler there, and then carry on across, and then try and bring it into the corner there, and then across here and here for the hob. So that's the plan for Friday today. Like I said, I'm just going to crack on with this. So I'm going to start chasing that out now, see where I can move that switch to, and then we'll go from there.
I'll have the door.
Right, so taking that spur off and literally just found that the cable was coming straight up there, so pulled it out, cut the trunking off and left the cables out there. I'm going to put them in Wagos so I can turn the ring back on and have the power back on. Adrian, who's here doing the plastering, he's already done a fantastic job around here, so he's going to be skimming the walls and everything, and he's going to fill that in for me. So my new flue hole on Friday is going to go approximately in between these two, because I've just worked out the widths of the boiler, so it's got to go slightly underneath here, so I can't get it above this point. So it's going to sit slightly below here, so I've kind of worked out the flue hole is going to go roughly there. So he's going to fill that in, make that all good. But check this out, this wall, the way they've done this, Right, I'm not going to do it too much, but that is moving. So the way they've done this, there's not even a lintel above this door frame. They've literally just got concrete, it looks like. So there's no support or anything like that. So the customer's got a builder coming tomorrow to have a look at this to see how they can make this a bit secure. Because yeah, that's not right. I mean, yeah, it's not even, there's no insulation in the middle either. So they've had a lot of issues in this property where things have sort of been chopped and changed. It looks like the house that Jack built. So that's going to get sorted out. They've got a builder coming out to look at that. Now I've got that socket done, I can crack on with the radiators. So probably going to start with either that one or that one. Haven't quite decided yet. I'm just going to unload everything from the van that I need. So got my SDS out already. Just going to get some plugs, some screws, laser level fixings. You know how it is when you're doing radiators. It's never straightforward. And yeah, hopefully I get good fixing on the walls. Otherwise I've got to get the resin out and do all that jazz as well. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so first radiator is going here. Now the radiator is a different size, so it's a different height. I think the width is pretty much similar. So this one is a 1400 type 22, 1400 by 600, or the other way around, depending on how you want to do it. So 600. I've got plenty of space on the wall to put in a 600. So these valves are going to be chopped lower. So luckily they're higher, so I can literally just cut them down once I'm ready to do so, and then repipe it. And the 1400 is going to sit in between these two as well. So all my pipe work, luckily on this one, is not going to be a problem. I can cut it down wherever I need to, then elbows up. Unfortunately, the flooring is staying down, so all the pipework adjustments are going to be done above the floor. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to find my center point between these two. I mean, I've done a video on how to hang a radiator to valves. However, I'm not bothered about hanging them to the valves in this case. I just want to make sure I've got it center in between both pipes. So that way my radiator will be centered there, and it's not going to look like I'm going to have an elbow coming off of there and then that's going straight up or anything like that. If I'm going to have to kick it in or whatever, wanting to make it look symmetrical. There is a bit of a nasty crack there, but yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. But yeah, so first thing I'm just going to do on this one, find my center line, center point there, and then mark up how high I want my radiator. So I'm going to find the bottom of the radiator, distance between the bottom of the radiator to the bottom of the first bracket point, mark that along there, get my brackets on, hang the radiator on, and then move on to the next one. So unbox the first radiator. Now all I'm going to do in this case is just find the distance between the bottom of the radiator and the bottom of the bracket. So I'm just lining that up on there like so. And then from there to the bottom of the bracket is 50 mil. So that I know now, I've already marked my center point, so I'll show that in a minute. But once I've decided how high I want the radiator, I just got to take that 50 mil up from wherever I want the bottom of the radiator, do my horizontal line across the wall, so that'll be the bottom, and then I have my center point already marked up, and then I can get the two brackets on, hang the radiator on. Okay, so I've got my center line for the radiator, and then one mark there for one bracket, another one there for the other one. So taking the distance between the two brackets, divide it in half, and then take my measurements across there. Luckily, where I've actually put the laser on the box, it's lined up perfectly to where I want the bottom line of my bracket. So there is two lines there, but it's not the top one, it's the bottom one. So it's just sitting on that. So now I've got my horizontal line. So each of my brackets will now, which way? I'm going to have a thin way. Yeah, that way. So I just got to make sure I stick that one straight there on that side, one on that side, and we'll get the radiator on and we'll hang it. We'll see how it comes out. So we got first radiator is on, so just got my laser back on just to make sure that I've got it center, which I have, so that's fine. It's nice and level. See that bubble right in the middle. And now obviously that radiator sits a lot lower than the last one, so I can cut each side tomorrow and just bring it probably out and then up. Same on that side, so valves and the pipe will be sitting a lot lower. That way they've got it. I've kind of done the radiator so it sits as low to the skirting as possible, and they've got a little bit more room up there as well, so hopefully it should heat more of the cold air as it comes in through the window rather than being obstructed by the windowsill there. So that's one radiator done. I'm not going to film all of them because it's going to be the same stuff again and again and again. I'm going to crack on with the next one and then so on and so forth. So I'm just in the process of doing, this is rad number 4. So the upstairs ones, that one I need to hang on there, but there's a valve in the way, so I need to cut that and move that out of the way. But this one is hollow, so we've got plasterboard, and then it looks like, well, it feels like, it sounds like it's a stud wall. Now it's not dot and dabbed, so I can't use the core fix, which I normally use if I've got dot and dab. So that's the really long raw plugs with the little metal insert and then the long metal screws to take you all the way into the block work. However, these are, well, there's too much gap in between, so when I actually drilled through, there's about that much gap in between this and the next wall. So what I'm going to be using instead is these anchors. So I'm not sure if anyone's, well, I'm sure a lot of you guys know about these, but these are fantastic for plasterboard screws. I've actually used these in my own house. So I've got a 2 meter by 600 type 22 in my kitchen, and it's held up by, basically on one side it was plasterboard, the other side was dot and dab. So on the dot and dab side I've used core fix screws, on the plasterboard side I've used these, and it doesn't go anywhere. So I'll show you how they work. You basically do the 9mm plugs, but I normally do an 8mm to keep it tight, and then tap that in, and then you get this special setting tool. So that will basically clamp into it, and what it does is this, it gets it to open out like a butterfly. So behind the wall it will basically spread out, so it's meant to distribute the weight evenly across the whole wall, so it's not going to pull out the plasterboard. Like if you use the pigtail ones, sometimes you find that over a period of time the radiator can, if it gets heavy or the wall gets weak, it will pull off. These ones, I've not had anything pull off with these so far, because literally it anchors it to the wall. So I'll get this and I'll show you how I set it up. So now they're all set in the wall. So what the gun does is, you keep this end of it threaded in, sorry you can't see that, keep the threaded end into the end of the raw plug a little bit, well, not the anchor, unwind it just enough so that then, probably teaching a lot of you how to suck eggs, but that will then sit in there like that, and then as you pull the trigger on this, you'll see that little arm move back, and that releases it. So what it's doing, as you're doing that, it's pulling the back of there. I can feel it from there. That's actually flared out at the back now, so now that's going to distribute the weight evenly across a wider surface area rather than just have it concentrated on just one point. So that should make our fixing strong, even though obviously I've got holes here, I've got holes there. That should still take the weight. I mean, it's only type 11 anyway, so it's a single panel rad, so it's not going to be very heavy, but these will just help with adding a little bit of reinforcement. So now let's get that radiator hung on, and now I've got 1 and 2 more left to do. There we go, that hallway radiator is on. Obviously where it is, so hallway, landing, kept on the shallow side, so it's not going to stick out too much and take up too much space as you're walking through. And it lines up fairly well with the valves, so hopefully all I should have to do here is bring that up a bit, valve, tail, and that should go straight on there. Likewise on this side, it should be very similar. Obviously there's this pipe, there's a bit of movement up and down, so that's okay. Radiator is nice and level as well, so that one's done, and that is solid. That's not going anywhere. So those anchors, they are wicked for plasterboard. I'd try not to use the pigtails. I've got them. I use them for if I'm putting in clips or anything like that, something which is not going to carry a lot of weight. Anything which is likely to carry some weight, although this is only a single panel and it's not going to be that heavy. Once it's full of water, probably going to weigh a little bit more than what it would normally weigh. So best to have these fixings on, because you don't want to hang it and then later on you get a call saying that it's come off the wall. Especially if you've got kids, they're going to be, you know, they've got little one. As they grow older, if they're running around, if they knock into the radiator. From working in social housing, I've seen it all. You know, kids hanging off radiators, pulling them off the wall. It's just a nightmare. So yeah, this just gives it that little bit more extra support. Got 2 more left to do. Then I'm gonna have a bit of lunch, and yeah, I think I'm doing all right for time. So I probably will start piping up today. Just saves me less to do tomorrow, because I reckon boiler day is gonna be a big day. So if I can get most of it piped up today, even, I could even make a start on the boiler stuff tomorrow, and it gives me 2 days to get all that stuff done. So let's crack on. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this one's actually meant to go on this wall, but I had to measure this one so that it marries up to that valve, because where that bend is, there's no joint there and there's nowhere low down for me to cut and bring the pipe back up again. So I've done that to that valve. So can't hang that radiator on there yet because it hits that valve. So I need to cut that down, then hang it there. I can kick that out and come up. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, and done the 2 downstairs as well. So that one's on the wall. That's the first one. That's done. So yeah, running a bit ahead of schedule, which is good. Had a bit of lunch, so yeah, I'm just going to start piping. I'm not sure whether I'm going to start upstairs or downstairs. Just going to have a little bit of a clear up, gather my thoughts, because I always need to gather my thoughts, and then I'll decide where I'm going to start, upstairs or downstairs. So I've made a start on the first radiator. That one's done, so that's on the wall. So you can see where that pipe was coming straight up. I couldn't get that radiator on because the old valve was there. So that one I managed to just do elbow and a street elbow with a long tail coming out that lock shield. That side I got really lucky. Well, I didn't get lucky, I measured it, so I was lucky that I measured it right. But yeah, coupling straight up. That one was a little bit difficult to cut. I had to use a little mini angle grinder on there because I couldn't get my cutters around there. That one was okay, but yeah, that one did that, filed it down, then put my fittings on it. So that's all done. Everything's nipped up, tightened up. Radiator's been fully dressed as well. So 1 down. I'm going to try and get 4 done today if I can. So all of the upstairs, and then just leave 2 for downstairs. We'll see how much pipe work there is involved and how much palaver I've got to do, faffing around with, depending how close the pipe is to the skirting and stuff like that. But yeah, making good progress. Already ahead of schedule from what I planned. So try and get as many of these radiators piped up today. I'll see if I can film any of me doing any soldering pipe work. I've opted for solder on this occasion because I just think it looks nice on radiator pipes. Also, most likely they're going to probably paint them afterwards, so don't want big bulky press fittings on radiators. So yeah, just soldering. The system already drained out because I drained it out about a month ago when I came to take off the radiators, and I isolate the flange returns under the boiler so they could still have hot water and the boiler still had pressure in it, but the rest of the system, heating system's drained, so I haven't got to worry about any water in the pipe. So soldering is a doddle, and there's an outside drain off, so I'm winning. So I'm going to do the hallway one next, and then so on and so forth, and we'll just see how long each one takes. I'd like to get all of upstairs done, but we'll see how we get on. Right, so I'm finishing up for today. I've got 4 out of 6 piped up. One more, the 7th one I'll probably do tomorrow as well anyway. So that one's yet to be done. That one in here, that's yet to be done, but this one's all piped up. Luckily, this one was just straight couplings. That one you saw already. That one's all piped up and dressed and everything. I've just got to put the side covers on there. And then downstairs, that one is all piped up. And that one is all piped up as well. So all I've got left to do tomorrow, I've got a feeling I might have a couple of leaks on some of the joints because it was old pipe, and I tried to solder it neat, but then I've also tried to solder it properly as well. So I'm hoping it's taken, but I'll find out when I fill up. Might fill up tomorrow after I've piped up and then re-drain the water out again just to test it. But this is the one in the kitchen that I've got to do probably tomorrow, let that go off a bit, and then hang the radiator, pipe that one up, and then depending what time I finish up, which shouldn't actually take me too long, I'll probably make a start on the boiler, get it at least on the wall, get the new core hole drilled, and then yeah, play it by ear, see what happens.